Hey besties, Misfit Makers Besties presents Glittering the Epoxy Method. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at Misfit Makers, and also make sure to check out our website www.misfit-makers.com. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to be using Fast Set by CCDIY. It is my favorite. And if you are a new crafter, make sure to use regular epoxy because it does dry pretty quick, but this should go pretty quick. So anyway, I mixed 2.5 mLs of each, A and B. I never mix less than 5 mLs at a time, just so I make sure that everything mixes properly. As you see here, I'm mixing kind of fast, but it's completely okay because if you get bubbles, no big deal. Your first coat or the coat of epoxy that you're putting on there is so thin, bubbles don't matter. We are not going to use enough to need to spin this cup. Now it's time to put our epoxy on our tumbler. This is a stainless steel tumbler. I didn't spray paint it. The reason is the colors that I'm using don't need a base color. And I am just using a gloved hand here to spread my epoxy. As you can see, I used a tiny bit, probably like a quarter size little blob of epoxy. So I probably used maybe 2 mLs max. This is a 32 ounce plump from the Steel Magnolias. And if you know, you know, these things are huge, humongous. So if you saw how little of epoxy I used, then for even smaller cups, you need even tinier amount. Remember, we don't need to spin this cup. It is not going to be spun. It's just going to sit to dry. So you don't need to put a lot. Use your glove here to spread it evenly. It should feel hard to spread. It shouldn't be goopy. It should be hard to spread apart. And also make sure you get on your bottoms, the little grooves, so the glitter adheres really well, and the top rim. Make sure it's not streaky or lumpy or clumpy, kind of like you do with Mod Podge, but I think this method is so much easier. Now we're going to start our glittering. I'm using London and holy water from Backfist Customs, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on my cup. I want a combination of both colors, so I'm going very sparsely around my cup, just kind of sprinkling in areas. This is actually a peekaboo cup, so I want it to look different colors in different spots. So this is a beautiful, like holographic, chunky mix silver. I love this color. It just gives off so many different colors, and I'm obsessed with it, especially on a stainless steel base. Now we're going to go in with our second color, holy water. This is the great thing about the epoxy method is that you have a little bit more working time to add different colors and really work on your design, especially if you use regular epoxy. This is Fast Set, but it still was plenty of time to work with my glitters. So as you see, I'm using a little spoon here because I want it to be kind of sprinkled around all the crevices that I left from the silver. And then after that, I'm going to go back and alternate between my holy water, which is a very beautiful color shift, and my London silver holographic. That way I can get in all those little cracks, nooks and crannies and get a nice cool blend. Remember, this is a peekaboo cup, so I want it to have lots of different colors of peekabooing through, if that makes any sense. So anyway, look how gorgeous it looks. Like the base is beautiful. I am obsessed. So after you have applied all your glitter where you want it, and after you've cleaned up your beautiful glitter, then you want to get a piece of parchment paper and or wax paper, either one works great, and you want to go ahead and pat your glitter down. Some people like to roll it on a parchment paper, some people like to use their hand on it. I like to just use a piece of wax paper or parchment paper and just pat it down so all my glitter lays flat. You want to do this especially when you're using chunky mixes or chunkies because you don't want them to stick straight up. You want to be able to get a nice smooth cover with your epoxy without those little glitters standing up and causing you grief and lots of hours of sanding. So you will thank yourself later for not skipping this step. I hope this was a helpful tip. The last little tip I have for you guys, I like to run my finger along the rim just to knock off any sharp edges, any loose glitter. This will help with epoxying. So after this, you want to set it out to dry and then seal it really well and epoxy as normal. So I hope this little tutorial was helpful, and thank you guys so much. We want to thank our members from the MMBX, our Patreon group. Make sure to go check it out. And if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe and follow both on Misfit Makers on Facebook and our YouTube channel. Till next time, see you guys later.